The entire team at Emsolation want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We want to recognise that we are recording and telling our stories on the stolen land of our country's first storytellers. We wish to pay our respects to all Wurundjeri elders and ancestors, and to extend that respect to any First Nations peoples who listen to Emsolation. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's continued connection to the land and waters of this country, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be.
This is Emsolation.
Well, hello there and welcome to a very special Emsolation in Conversation. So special we're giving it to you on a Wednesday. Today joining me is an Australian icon. She is a diva. She has been a staple in the musical landscape of this country since she burst onto the scene in the early 90s and then gave us Stylin Up, the album that changed 15-year-old Em's life with the hit, more specifically, Party. Christine Anu. Oh, if you had told me when I was sitting there listening to that album that one day I would sit opposite her and laugh and cry, Ben, you can confirm we are kindred spirits.
Piscean babes.
Piscean legendary divas, although I do not place myself in the same category as her. It was just, at several moments I was above my body thinking, you're sitting opposite Christine Anu. She's laughing at your jokes. She's spotting a vagina costume that you accidentally left in the room.
Oh, God, yeah.
Wait to hear that moment. This chat gave me life. And when I tell you about the pep talk you're all about to get, when I tell you you are going to leave this chat feeling like you can take on the world, she has this incredible quality and just this quiet strength that is life-affirming. Christine is currently starring as Hermes in Hadestown that's playing in Sydney. I've made no secret of the fact it is one of my all-time favourite musicals. It's just one of those musicals with so much heart and it's so brave and it's modern, but it's also a story as old as time. Now, for those of you who haven't seen Hadestown, it's the retelling of the Orpheus and Eurydice myth, and the music in Hadestown, it's not musical theatre at all. It's kind of this blend of folk, jazz, and New Orleans swing, and it's really got this kind of brutalist industrial theme to it. Orpheus is a hopeful head-in-the-clouds musician, while Eurydice is a practical survivor who's just trying to make it through a tough winter. And then when survival becomes too difficult, Hades, yes, that Hades, lures Eurydice to his underworld. And when you get to the underworld, it's been reimagined as like a harsh factory-like city. Now, Orpheus is still back up on top. He's driven by love and just insane grief that she's gone. So he sets out to rescue her by using the power of a song he's writing. And Hermes, which is Christine's character, is the narrator and guides us through the world of the gods, the workers, the fates, where we meet Persephone, who is also Hades' wife, and we find that she too is struggling with the idea of being married to the devil. The musical explores themes of love, sacrifice, power, and tension between hope and inevitability. And like I said to you, it's the most heartbreaking, life-affirming show I think I've ever seen. And Christine's role is so integral, and we get straight into it. The importance around her casting as an Indigenous woman and the way that she is the keeper of the stories and the way that she's passing them down through the song lines, which is what Indigenous cultures have done for centuries. And I explained to her my reaction to her casting because it was a deep, visceral, physical one because it just made so much sense. Please enjoy this chat with the absolutely incredible, I can't tell you, I'm just so moved and changed from this chat alone. And yes, there was again crying, and I don't set out to make my guests cry, but I've done it again because I got to tell somebody I've always looked up to, and also somebody who as recently as 2 weeks ago moved me and did the thing I know that she set out to do for audiences. She achieved it. And as a performer personally, hearing that is the best validation you can get. You can be told, oh, your singing's good, you look good, it sounded good. But if you're told, hey, message received, and it's the exact message you were putting out into the universe, it's massive. All right, that's enough from me. Here's Christine Anu. Christine Anu, everybody! Woo!
Is it I get to clap myself?
No.
I just did.
Honey. I grew up surrounded by gay men, which won't be a surprise to you.
Same.
Oh, yeah. So every time they'd roll up and one of us had red shoes on, you know what, we would just sing at each other. And I'm not a titter girl, and I didn't know what I was singing at the time, but I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Because when you think about it, oh, my God, we're going straight in, right in, balls flaps to the wall.
All right.
95 was a massive year for Australian women in the pop music scene. Like we had you, obviously. Kylie Minogue, Confide in Me came out that year. Denny was just out and about tearing it up. Natalie Imbruglia, Torn was coming. What else did I wrote it all down because I was reading last night thinking, holy shit, Tina Arena.
And I was also on the tails of Tina, Kate Sobrano, Wendy Matthews,
Tina, Deborah Conway.
Yes, of course. And we had Max Sharam out was then from over the pond rather. We had Bic Runga.
Oh,
Bic Runga.
Stay.
Yeah, that's it.
So good.
Yeah, there was a bunch of us and Frente. I mean, I remember
Accidentally Kelly Street where friends and strangers. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah, it was a really good time to be at. But, Strength of Women, I didn't have anything to compare it to. I didn't know that that's what it was. It was a massive wave of it.
Trailblazer on 15 different levels. Let's not pretend you were just there as a woman.
I was there as a one-off in my idea.
Still.
In my idea. I guess I'm here to create my first album and only album, and I hope it's impactful, and then I can get on with everything else.
Back to dancing. Because she was a dancer. I mean, I do see that. I went and saw Hadestown a couple of weeks ago. I'd already seen it on Broadway. And, I mean, we're going to just be jumping all over the place. It's just the ADHD-ness of it all. But when I heard, because I saw it on Broadway, fell in love with it, and it's the type of musical that it sits inside your cells and it just expands until your heart feels like it's going to explode. And I didn't really know that until I kind of witnessed it and then became so obsessed with the soundtrack. And then I heard you announced as Hermes, and I burst into tears because the magic in an Indigenous woman being the keeper of the story and passing it down through song lines was just like, my God, I'm going to cry now. I'm going to cry now.
Oh, no.
I don't think the Australia. And then when you come out with the Australian accent, you speak in language when you're counting down. I was like, bitch. I don't think Australia gets how special your casting in this narration role is. Obviously, the second you found out about this and what it was, you knew, right? Yeah?
I knew nothing about the show, knew nothing about Hermes. I just understood that the little snippet that I was given to audition with, if it could do that to me.
What did that give you?
It was, I was listening to Chips Are Down.
What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down.
I was going to go for one of the Fates. But I was not going to, I wanted to be a solo, I thought Hermes would be. And then I said, hang on, can I speak in my Australian accent? And is this a male? Wasn't Hermes a male? A male. And I just loved the idea of, and this is when I first started in musical theatre and finding how many auditions that were going around that were really typically for me to be in that role. Casting agencies weren't thinking outside the box back in the day.
A lot of white ladies.
And there was not a lot for me to do. And it was really quite sad because I wonder if, like Casey Donovan, my voice could have developed towards that,
Absolutely.
ilk of and style of singing.
Your voice is just fine. My God, she's singer. I only listen to people who can sing. You don't worry about that. Your voice, the runs this lady is doing. I lived. But continue. Yes.
I loved the idea of, so I didn't know the whole capacity of the role, you know, the end of Road to Hell. You're only given a small bit of it.
On the road to hell, there was a railroad line.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't ask where, brother, don't ask when.
Yes.
So I just look, after the end of it, I thought, oh my God, I've had such an awesome time in this. I shat myself.
Amazing.
I was, you know, I did all of the things that you should be doing when you really are tipping over the edge, and you know, scared, and just doing everything you possibly can, and leaving it on the floor before you walk out. And I just turned to them and said, I don't care how this turns out. Thank you for making that place a safe space for me to be in and to bloody well enjoy myself. And if I can have every audition experience like that, I'm going to be so disappointed if I'm not cast in the role.
I love it so much. Because, I mean, you have done musical theatre, obviously, in Rent. I saw it. Amazing. And so the landscape has changed a lot. I want you to talk about that, because I've gone through radio over the last 20 years, and even now, I don't know that radio's changed that much, but it was pretty brutal when I was in it. But I know musical theatre was probably a level even worse in terms of not cherishing and valuing the performers and treating them like they were just coming off a production line. Is it changed? Like, you're in there now. You're in a different cast. Do you feel
I can't
held?
speak for the change. I can speak for how different it is.
Tell me, yeah.
Because I want to talk about, it's a different planet that I landed on. So before we started on the first day of 2025, it was training. We did 3 days of training, and so we're talking about training in media, training in workplace safety and work environment, intimacy, and mental health and cultural, diversity.
Well, the cast is diverse. It's spectacular.
It's like I have been working and spearheading my whole career to this point. It feels like that,
you got to the destination you didn't know you'd get to.
Yeah, that I was wishing for all along, all those years ago.
But you were setting yourself on fire to start the trial for.
When is that type of production going to arrive?
Amazing.
And then I landed on a different planet. The planet being that we're discussing things that should have been discussed way back when. I mean, and I felt very triggered by examples of what could happen and how we could treat it that had happened in my life previous to
you're
that.
like, this is an
and
example.
It was,
this is a memory.
Things that you thought that you'd put to rest were actually still there, and you hadn't resolved them. But it was okay. I let that out. But I was also walking in to the first day still grieving my mum, the loss of my mum. So there was
so sorry.
So carrying all of that.
But don't you think the universe sent you this as a way to
on so many levels
move forward, and I know that you got to tell her, which is just so important.
You know, I got to tell her that I got the role, and then I thought to myself back then, how am I going to get you to Sydney to see this, because it's not going anywhere else except Sydney and Melbourne. But now she's with me.
Of course.
She's here. She's like right with it. And I've got this photo of her watching me perform, and she's got this amazing look on her face, like, you know, that pride of a mum.
All in the eyes.
Yeah, it's all...
My kids see it every morning.
I know, it's like they do a poo and it's like, oh,
same, yeah.
They fart and it's like, oh, maybe not. No, my son used to be like, Mum, before you go, I've got something to say.
Oh, mine's doing fart face now.
I'd be like,
yes.
And nothing's changed. He's a dad himself now, so that makes me a grandma. But
girl, no, I won't believe it. She's too young to be a grandmother.
I just turned my new age,
which is
15th of March, which is bring it. I'll be 35.
Oh, you're a Piscean queen like me.
I totes am. Oh, no wonder.
Girl, I knew it.
Yeah.
I'm March 1st.
Okay, March 15. Ides of March. Beware. Okay.
There's a bit of Scorpio somewhere in there has to be.
I reckon there's a bullet on, a bullseye, or what is it, a target on my back, because they say the Ides of March, beware the Ides of March. Caesar got stabbed in the back. And I feel like...
I always wear an evil eye everywhere because of that.
Yeah.
But my evil eye fell off on its own, which apparently the universe is saying people aren't trying to curse you anymore. So you've got to wear an evil eye and let it disappear itself. You can't force it off, yeah.
I was wearing a gift, which was a carving of jade stone on a visit to New Zealand. and it fell off me. And when I went back to the cover and said, I lost it, it fell off my... And he said to me, and this is what I was told about something that you lose, is that you were never meant to have it.
Oh, I got told you're no longer needing of it. I like mine better.
I like yours
It's less
better
aggressive.
too. It's less,
And it makes me feel like, I'm okay now. I'm in a good place.
I'm deserving.
Yes.
I'm worthy. Yeah.
So your mum's watching over you, and
She is.
you've gone from caring for her. Were you in Rockhampton? You were living
Rockhampton, still living there
You're still-
because
yeah.
I don't know
That's
if
a long
you
commute
know.
every day, honey.
It's a long commute every day, but also if you can't find it took me ages to get a house there.
Sydney's
And then you can't, like if I wanted to move back into the area to this postcode in New South Wales or Victoria, you just can't get in. They don't want you here.
They do not.
They don't want you here.
I live out in the bush.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, I mean, it's regional Queensland,
Yeah.
and it's okay. I mean, like the worst drivers in Australia. Sorry.
Don't apologise. They know.
It's like turn the corner, but do it from the left lane.
Or they just merge like
don't
kamikaze.
do it from the right lane
Yeah.
in front of a car that's already there. Like, come on.
I
It's
noticed-
like 101.
I noticed in Rockhampton, the driving, all the rule, they're just kind of maybe a suggestion, not a rule for a lot of the drivers. They're like, maybe. I'll consider it.
Oh,
I won't indicate.
Like, and the speed, the legal speed is 60.
It's a suggestion.
Just saying. I mean, you can actually cause accidents at a slow speed.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Oh, my
not that
goodness.
I'm speeding, but yeah.
Oh, look at her. She's been in the media long enough to know. Not that I'm speeding.
Not that I'm speeding.
I don't want a headline saying Christine Anu is speeding.
Yeah,
so you've
did
come
it,
out
done
of,
it.
You've come out of same. You've come out of looking after your mum into full blown musical land. That's a shock to the system. So you walk in day
A
one.
shock I needed. A shock I would suggest to anyone to
Yeah.
have. You go. Well, living in Central Queensland, living and doing what I was doing, it felt like I had, what's the word I'm looking for, settled. Mm-hmm. I
know exactly
I
what
did not
you mean.
settle at all.
No.
But, sometimes you feel like this is it. It's a rut.
This is where I am.
Yeah, and
I see you.
And all these things that are being said by Persephone in Hadestown is like, you kind of get that cabin fever is setting in kind of thing, feeling.
Oh,
and
Persephone turning to wine.
it's like,
Yeah, man. The most relatable thing.
but see, this is all me. Like I was looking after my mum, but I was also on it too, and because I all this time, and not that my looking
Persephone's
after
in perimenopause too. We all can see
we-
that. She's in an unhappy marriage.
It's perpetual perimenopause.
Perpetual perimenopause. We've got to medicate with the alcohol.
Yeah.
Because I've given up alcohol. Like a year ago, I'm like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
done. I know you're the same, but you do, yeah.
What I say about musical land is it's particularly with Hadestown. Hadestown is to me right now like it's now unveiling itself to be and revealing itself to be this is what Island Home was to me as a student, not knowing that I was going to be a dancer or singer come dancer, or
not knowing you were going to
dancer
create
come,
one of the greatest cultural movements of our
but
time.
my Island Home, it stalked me and it caught up with me, and then it said, no, I'm supposed to be with you.
My island home, my island home, my island home is waiting for me.
And I didn't know that Hadestown was that to me. It's my island home of the now. It's
I'm having full body chills. babe.
it stalked me, and it's saying this. You need this as much as it needs you. It needs you as much as you need this. And everything in it has been a wonderful way to hold my mother close and still grieve her. But yet, here I am, having put so much of myself into Hermes. Every performance is a wonderful opportunity to just search for more ways to make Hermes this person who is, yes, although stuck in this sort of like purgatory and perpetuity, just a way of like, Hermes is, okay, another day every day is a new day and it's going to be different. And that's the sort of optimism you have to have when you know that at everyone's life comes an end, right?
We still love knowing it could end.
It could end.
That's that
we
beautiful
love
optimism that humans
we
have
also,
to have. Yeah.
We also go, okay, well, what can we do because it's not the destination. I'm still getting there, kind of thing. So it's wonderful as an actor to try to explore those ideas. And as you're doing it, you just kind of, I'm midway through the Sydney season now, and I kind of need a break from just being on a solo track because Hermes is a role where you're physically not with any of the cast members on stage. And when you're in rehearsal, those relationships develop that I, Christine, never had to have. I never got to have those because I was just, oh my gosh, the rehearsal I put into, the work I put into after hours for this role was just a lot. It was intense because one, I'm holding my grief on one hand and the incapacity to retain information because I'm so full up with all of these, emotions that I've put pause on that. And how do I replace that while it's on pause? It doesn't want me to be on pause. It wants me to hold these emotions. So I have to take in what's going on inside of me as well as develop who Hermes is. So whatever you're seeing on opening night is, it's fresh. It's all there.
I want you to know it's being received. Like, I want to tell you, it is your hard work and your heart and your grief and your love, and it's got this amazing auntie energy. Like, I love it so much. You just strike that fine line, which I imagine you're like as a mother, because I am. It's that line between authority and just so much love in my bosom for my people who I'm in charge of taking care of.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you off with a smile on my face. How does that feel?
With a glint in my eye.
But it's not. But I'm not being a bitch.
No,
I'm just telling you
I'm
I
guiding.
love you.
Yeah, I'm making you better.
I'm telling you off, but I'm making you better for this.
I see that.
Yeah.
I see that. You were so. No, everything you just said to me, I knew. Like I knew that you had put in your fucking blood, sweat, and tears. Like, you are bleeding in that. Right, every time you step on stage, and I know that would take a toll on you personally. Like, I don't know how you're managing to get to sleep at night, because this role is, you're like me, like to
Talk to my doctor.
to tell stories well, right? You have to relive them every single time. You are not out there just saying the words and leaving the stage. You're living it. And that's why I was so moved by your performance.
Tissues.
Can somebody get Christine a tissue? I said I wasn't going to make you cry.
No, but
I just want you to know.
I can make myself cry. No, you did make me cry.
As a performer, when I am, but as a performer, when someone says to you, "Do you know the thing you made? I received it with your intent."
Yeah.
It's like, okay, thank you.
And do you know that it wasn't a struggle because it makes it sound like a battle.
It's not.
But it's. Do you know when? Like, I knew how unprepared I was walking into that room on the first day of rehearsal. I knew it. But I also decided that.
Yeah.
That.
So it's all we've got.
Thank you so much. Okay, I've only got some toilet paper
I'm so
here,
sorry.
but
We are a comedy podcast. I don't normally make people cry. Oh, no. I made Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo cry.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, my God.
Because Cynthia, Wicked's one of my all-time favourite musicals, and Cynthia was just such a beautiful alpha bar, and I just said, from the musical theatre kid nerd, I said, you did it. My jam, my quirk is telling performers that I've long loved, you did it. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, so, yeah.
No, you've just...
And I think the idea is that...
But you learned, you walked in, you walked in, you were not unprepared. You brought a few decades worth of life experience into the room.
Well, that's it. That's it. Full stop, period.
You've lived and Hermes has lived.
But also, it takes a big person to say, I'm afraid to be. I'm not afraid to show you what building blocks can do. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to go in as a blank canvas in front of people. A lot of people can't do that. I have to be absolutely rehearsed before people come and see me. I'm not that person. I think there's a lot
How can the role in you
camaraderie.
infuse and
People grow with you and you grow when you're willing to let people in on that process. And people had to grow with my Hermes to want me to help them tell that story. It's important. It's an important part for this role, I felt, as well. It's like, don't come in knowing everything. Let everybody watch you become Hermes, and they will trust you. They will end up trusting. Is that a vagina?
Yes.
I thought so.
It's a giant vagina.
Okay.
I'll show you. It's really cool. When I toured my show Rage and Rainbows, I had 12 dancing vulvas on stage. So like, yeah. So the whole show was about female rage. And, you know, like...
You're the clit.
Yeah, I'm the clit. So, but I had mainly men in them too, so it was funny. There was a problem. There wasn't enough vaginal diversity though. Like all the vaginas were like this and not all vaginas. So I really made that mistake. But it was very hard to find someone to make 12 different, you know, vulvas, the technical term.
Yeah.
So I did a whole national tour with, I'd closed the show. I wrote a song called Flap Up, which is about, you know, we always say grow a pair, but we need to say flap up instead. And then to...
Oh, I love Flap Up.
Well, it's on Spotify. Have a listen to it. You'll love it. It's an 80s vagina rock power ballad. And we had 12 dancing vulvas come out when I was singing it.
Oh, my God.
As all stand-up comedians need.
I just can't get over the fact that I was sitting here looking at that going...
Crying, pouring her heart out. Do you know that I'm the first...
And all the while there's a vulva staring at me over on the seat over there, and now you're wearing her.
Her lips were like, Christine.
You've got loose lips is what they were saying.
Oh my God. I'm also the first person to ride a self-inflating 8-metre penis on the Sydney Opera House stage. You are before greatness, my friend. I will always hold that record, and I'm so proud of it.
Yeah.
But can I tell you?
That's
it's quite
hard.
nice to take a nap in. I used to wear these on
It's
the
very
plane.
comfy. Oh, my God, that would be such a great pillow.
Totally.
Plain pillow, absolutely.
No one would come near you or talk to you either.
Oh, except for the men.
I'm off men. This is me with men right now. My poor husband.
All right.
Yeah, no, it's no good. I've got no estrogen left in me, no moisture left to give. I'm
my
surprised
God.
you can cry. I've got no moisture. None.
I'm outdone.
The two oversharers, someone had to exhaust the other. We're going to rip a hole in the space-time continuum with our oversharing.
Oh, my God,
Yeah.
yes.
But, I
Is
mean...
that what you think I did with Jess Rowe? Overshared?
Absolutely not. There's no such thing.
I know, right?
People who say that
No.
need to go to therapy.
I know, right? Or
Men don't get accused of oversharing, babe.
right.
Only women. It's so gendered. And men don't get called opinionated. Don't get me
But I
started.
don't know a lot of men who overshare. Like men don't talk.
And that's a problem in this country.
Men don't talk. They're good at talking to themselves about
Yeah.
things that no one else wants to hear.
That don't matter.
That don't matter.
Yeah, they're very,
Don't
they're very
matter.
surface level. Oh, I just wish there was another podcast with white blokes talking about sport.
What about TV?
Oh, I don't even watch commercial TV anymore. It's no good. It's the same 10 people since 1995.
Fox, yeah.
Yeah, no good.
Sport.
No good.
Man, more men. Oh, man. Let's just try another
I'm just
gender.
glad they've got a platform. So I just want to say to everybody, and I'm going to do a big opening to explain Hadestown so everyone's got the storyline, because I'm aware that we've come in both Hadestown nerds and people might be listening going, what the fuck? But I just think the end of Act 1 is one of the most, like I talk about the end of Act 1 in Wicked where we get Defying Gravity, right? And I never thought there'd be an emotional moment to match that until I saw toward the end of Act 1, Wait For Me.
I'm coming, wait for me. I hear the walls repeating, the falling of my feet, and it sounds like drumming.
Swinging Lanterns, like that changed. I'm going to take my vagina off. It's very hard for us.
Yeah, and hot. Vaginas are hot.
They're warm. The end of Act 1. Oh, I'm coming, wait for me, and it's like
Yes. Iconic, right? It's I just oh my God, you should see the people in the front row, like seeing the lights.
So explain it. Explain, because I'm sitting here talking. So explain what we're seeing on stage.
So this is the moment. Wait for me. 1 at the just before the end of Act 1 is the decision of Orpheus. It's Orpheus' decision to go to Hadestown, to go to hell, to
Find Eurydice.
find his love, Eurydice, and bring her home. And hence the songs come home with me.
Come along with me.
The people who Well, first of all, the lights get a big applause. And have you ever been anywhere that lights get an applause?
Never. Mm-hmm. The last time an inanimate set object was the chandelier in Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
We clapped the chandelier.
But
the lights are amazing.
But these lights are amazing.
Oh,
they look like if you're in the front row, they're about to come.
But it's almost like I feel like I was at sea. You almost feel like you're on water though, because of the way the movement of it.
It's so, and the choreography is just, oh gosh. And just the amount of voices that produce this beautiful music off stage during, it's a small cast of 17, which is also including the 4 swings.
And band on stage.
And a band on stage, which is just amazing. And music, non-musical theatre music.
You can tell. It's New Orleans, it's R&B, it's jazz.
Soul,
and
it's got a bit of everything. Anais Mitchell.
That her music was, but the way she's written it, the reprises begin about 10 minutes in, so everything feels familiar by Act 2 and you're in. That's the genius of the musical.
Yeah.
The cyclical nature of the score.
And Hermes repeating, Orpheus was a poor boy.
Yeah.
Orpheus was a poor boy, but he had a gift to give. Orpheus was a poor boy, but he had a gift to give. He could make you see how the world could be in spite of the way that it is.
More, please. If you could just begin from Act 1, Scene 1. I will take a personal performance.
So the whole thing is repetitive, which is what was so it was so hard to return to retain it all, because it's
Have
just
I sung this already? Yeah.
And have I sung this already?
Yeah.
Or is that, no, that belongs to that bit. No, they plucked out of that and put that there, and it's just swapped around for this. Oh my gosh, do I still make mistakes on stage? I do. And you know what?
It keeps it fresh, babe.
The swings are the ones who go, Christine, that was so good how you just like substituted it. It was like, what's she going to do? What's she going to do? Oh, and it was so good what you put in there. Because I'll forget things like, oh my God, I said that line too early. Now what am I going to say? And then I'll say, then I'll go, and I've been putting in new lines for in the not on purpose, but because
I'm improving. Everyone's like, she's a genius. And you're like, no, I've just forgotten. I've been in again, you've been in the game long enough to know how to tap dance.
Well, you know, I know I've done the show enough times to know how the story is. So if I choose a word that doesn't fit there, at least it won't rhyme, but at least it's still telling the story. And Aeneas is a brilliant poet.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
you get the best lines. I mean, you genuinely, you do.
Yeah.
There's no, you get all the gold.
It's what you do with them, though. It's what you do with them, and that's what I keep trying to tweak at the end. It's like, you can't say that he's got a gift to get. You can't say he was touched by the gods, because he's not. He was touched.
Yeah.
He was touched, because we're not allowed to imply that he's, we're not allowed to do any of that, whatever the implications are.
He's neurodivergent, clearly.
He's just
probably autistic, the way he focuses on music. Like,
right,
definitely.
And that
my son loves him.
Essentially, the whole thing is like, we're just waiting on that one song, aren't we? And the song is primarily la 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 la. Yeah.
That's what Elio, my son, said. Mum, why did it take him so long to write it when it's just
la 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 la? Yeah. But it's a beautiful lot of la la las, and when you get the whole cast doing their versions of la la las and not doing la la las there and doing la la las, it's just absolutely wonderful. Rotating stage freaked me out. The umbrella.
How did you go with the rotating? Because the round. Because there's a lot of purposeful walking in Hadestown, just so you know. A lot of that, because that's the rhythm of the music is that's the whole score is moving, always moving,
always moving.
Even though you're all stuck in purgatory, it's always moving. So you always
and so that lends to it, doesn't it?
Totally.
And it's a touring. We've got the US touring stage.
Oh.
So it doesn't have the floor that comes up from the middle, drops from the middle. We've got the Dorian door, which represents the doors,
the lights.
Gates. Yeah, the gate.
When the
gates of hell.
Hadestown lights come on, oh my God.
I mean, and it's just so beautifully measured and colourful with the vocal styles as well, because you've got Hades with that deep baritone, And then you've got my texture compared to Persephone's texture, who's a true contralto, the beautiful Eleanor Rockaboa. Persephone is just next level.
The only role I'm a contralto. It's the only role I can ever sing in musical theatre. I got to look around for my contraltos. There's none.
I can't sing contralto, so I can get to there. I can reach that.
Killing
I can reach that there.
You've got tone,
and then you've got like you've got Orpheus just singing in falsetto.
Where is that man from?
Right? Falsetto through the whole thing. It's like, I must let people know it's hard for a bloke to sing in falsetto if that's not his true range. And that role is about falsetto the whole way through. And then the way he goes from the blend between falsetto into his chest.
You can't even hear it though.
It's just so beautiful and rich, and his emotion, the way he plays the songs.
That young boy.
Outstanding. And there's
Noah.
Eurydice. Noah Mullins.
Noah Mullins is Orpheus.
Abigail Adriano. It's like
some of the best singing I've seen. I'm not just saying. And I saw Michael Payne to play Jesus last week, and that was life changing. But these two, Noah, just for the singing, just for the singers.
Look, and it's supported by the most amazing acting that you can.
Yeah.
Like it's heart wrenching. I mean,
when Noah walks away at the end, we won't give it away if you don't know. I mean, everybody knows his tale. I watched him, Orpheus, and we saw a matinee, and he was genuinely in it at that last time where he leaves.
The whole time.
Oh my! I'm like, how is this man okay? Is there a therapist on standby for you all?
Well, I mean,
they're a company therapist.
We have to find. This is the whole training that we did. We have to find ways of unplugging from that
the character.
Yeah, and especially after two times a day.
Yeah.
Like it's and I go there and it's like I turned around and Hermes is like, but I have to remind everybody that we sing it anyway, even though we know how it's going to end. We sing it anyway, and it's about going there every time because Orpheus is going to go because Orpheus turned around. Orpheus is gone, and Hermes is waiting for the next Orpheus to come to tell Orpheus the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't turn around. You'll be given some rules here. You're going to have to obey. If you want to walk out of hell, you're going to have to prove it before gods and men. Can you do that?
And he does the most human thing.
Don't we all have that doubt, don't we?
We all would have done it.
We all
100%.
have self-doubt. We all go, well,
Yeah.
do they love me enough?
Yeah.
Am I worthy enough? Am I worth all of
It's
this?
the most human moment of the show.
Oh, the whole thing is human.
Yeah.
Like it's just, and watching the actors sing and act and just put themselves on the stage the way that they do. It's like having a masterclass. I get to be there. I get to watch this. What a privilege to do that. Every single performance. And I get to take away a piece of them and they don't know it because we never get to speak to each other. Everybody comes there for work. We warm up. We get into costume. We're up there and then everybody says goodbye at the end of the night. And, I
love that though. It keeps it precious and preserved. You're all...
Gets lonely though.
Oh, I know, but I feel lonely in a room full of people anyway, so I don't know about you.
Well, me and my friends, I've got me and all my
many
friends.
friends.
Yes, so many.
I've made friends with them finally. Like in the last couple of years, they've stopped yelling at me and they're more encouraging.
Yeah.
I think if this phase of life is teaching me anything, while it is a great reckoning and raising to the ground of my entire sense of self,
there you go.
I can't rebuild until the old shit's been moved out.
Yeah.
So I was really, I don't know about you, but menopause hit me as an empath, Pisces, neurodivergent woman pretty fucking hard. And I was really in my head about, I'm losing my mind. I'm angry all the time. I'm grumpy. Everything hurts. I hate everyone. And I was really in danger of just staying there. And then there was just a shift in, I can't even remember what happened. I don't know what happened. My doctor said to me, you're borderline osteoporosis at 44. Like you are in early menopause, your body's falling apart. And I had to make a choice whether I wanted to actually shift into a new phase and view this as a raising of all the old self and all the old messages and all the old things. And being in the media like you, I'd believe the worst things about myself, especially being in commercial radio, being told I was a diva and difficult and too opinionated and expected too much of the people around me. And you start to believe all that shit.
You send them to me and I'll sort them out for you. But what I know it's called, what it is, darling, it's called self-acceptance.
Yeah.
And I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. And whatever. People are going to think what they think.
I know, but I tried to control that for so long,
Yeah, but who cares?
Christine. I did deeply.
Really?
Because I built my self-worth around the opinions
of others.
Right.
But this phase,
Right.
the veil drops. I'm like, I don't give my fucks gone.
No one, look, the thing is...
And that's the thing that the
no
elders
one's
don't tell
paying
you about menopause.
No one's paying you for the time that you spend thinking
exactly.
about them and worrying about them and doing things for them.
Yeah.
And it's like, what a waste of time.
Yeah.
What
I
a
realise
waste of
that now.
time.
So much time spent. But that's been the great gift of moving into my late 40s that I wasn't really aware of. So I tell every woman, every young woman, my daughters are 23 and 18, and they could give a TED talk on what happens to a woman when her estrogen levels start dropping. At 35, by the way.
Oh, wow.
You start losing estrogen at 35. And if men started losing testosterone at the rate we lose estrogen, you could buy it in a vending machine and just slather it all over your body. But it's been, and that's why when I see a woman, like you and me of our vintage stepping into their fucking power on stage, you are you're in a renaissance now. And like, I'm so excited for what's next for you. And like,
me too.
Everybody needs to see Hadestown to see, like, you were a trailblazer already as like the only female Indigenous pop star, the first in the 90s, which was wild. You were just so fucking before your time.
Totally before my time.
And I can't imagine the trauma that would have
right?
inflicted on you being
Right.
an Indigenous, young, beautiful, talented woman in that industry at that time with those men. I mean, that is, we don't need to go back and relive that.
It was relived on the first 3 days of this. Like when I did the training for this, it was not elevated. It was so prevalent. It was the idea of what had happened to me was given a name. It was given visibility, and I was now validated for all those feelings I was told to push aside, get on with it,
That is
toughen
some heavy
up.
grief.
It was heavy.
It's heavy.
It was heavy, and it
Because
wasn't.
you think it's a singular experience to you, right? So you push it down,
That's
and then
right.
it's so common that it becomes an example in a training session, and you're like, I thought I was the only one.
Fucking true is that. Like and you know what? I knew it. I said, this is not my mother's grief. This is not
it's
that.
a separate. That's
This
you
is
grieving
holy-
19-year-old you. That's you wanting to go back and hold her and say, honey, this is what's happening to you is not your fault. It's the system around you. It's wrong. Like the amount of times I've walked back to young me and held her little face in my hands and said, the shit around you is what's wrong, not you.
It was, yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I was like, stage manager Bonnie runs in after me and says, are you okay, lovey? And I said, bear with me for a second. Something just happened in there. Something just popped. And I don't know what it is, but I'm seeing myself in times before that I thought I'd put to bed, and exactly what you said. It was that young girl. I was like, I'm sorry.
100%.
I'm sorry, darling.
But you're becoming the woman she needed at the time.
Stop.
Do you know what I mean? That's my whole life's
away,
purpose is to
bitch.
become the woman young Em needed. And I really try and be that for other women in my industry. And for
Like your daughters, my daughter's that woman that, like, I look at her and like she's almost 23, and I look at her and I go,
our kids are
Damn.
exact same apart.
Yeah.
You had Zippy the same year. I think I had Chella. And then
Right.
my other daughter's 6 years younger than her. Yeah, we just.
right, yeah, Kuyam's 6
Yeah.
years older than,
Yeah. Yeah.
completely different.
Different mothers.
Different.
Different time.
You know, that's what I've always said. I said, and Kuyam's always like,
My
her
6-year-old
brother.
is getting the best parent of all time.
all
And my
time.
2 daughters are like, bitch. I'm like, sorry.
But I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you said that he taught you, and I heard that. I really felt that. I say to my eldest daughter, she's my shadow, my best friend.
Yeah.
And I said to her, you taught me so much about, I was 21 when I fell pregnant. You taught me so much.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't, like I always say to him, you know, don't be envious of who she got, because you,
'Cause of you.
you are my main man.
Yeah. Oh,
You're you're
eldest
my
just
main
hits
man,
different,
and you were
yeah.
the main person who you showed me who I was. You reflected
Yeah.
back, you know, something that I just like. I didn't even know. I didn't want to be what my parents were to us as well. They didn't know what it's like. They weren't seen. 1967 referendum, 3 years before I was born. They weren't even being seen. They were still trying to navigate what it was to be a human being on the face of this planet, let alone parents. You know, so that's,
in this country,
so
in
this,
this, yeah,
you know, it's intergenerational, whatever you want to call it, still going on.
babes, the
While
trauma
I'm-
from your,
You know, there's all of that to consider as well, and it's like,
and you bring the ancestors with you,
all of
and
it.
don't you feel like? And I see this in you. You're the one that's been chosen to help the ancestors heal. Because I see you feel it all, and you're like you want to, and you have. So I have this pathological need to understand myself and why I am the way I am, and because I am the way I am because of all the people that came before me.
Totally.
And I'm now the person that perhaps is strong enough to figure that out. But it's painful and it's a lot.
yeah, pain is good. If it's there to
Teach you.
if it's there to teach you, but if it's there to make you stronger, pain is good.
Yeah.
Pain is not something to be afraid of.
But it's if you get stuck in it, you're fucked.
Yeah, well, yeah, shit. I was stuck in it when I was drinking.
Yeah.
I was stuck in that pain when I was drinking, and just not knowing why I was drinking. Drinking for what? What's the pain though?
Why? Yeah.
Yeah,
The
why is there pain? Why? What's the pain all to do with? And it's like, I haven't had a better day without alcohol being a part of it. You know, it's just.
You're incredible. Like like I can't even tell people they need to see Hadestown because you are so powerful, and it's just like you're exactly where you should be at this point in your life.
I
Like,
am
what
Hermes.
a gift! You are Hermes. What a gift this show is, but also
It is.
I know it's a universal story, but for Australian audiences to see a strong, powerful Indigenous woman, like I just in her absolute element, at her absolute best. Fuck me, like whatever's next is going to be insane.
All I've got to say to anybody out there is that when you take your first step in something new, please relax about it. And what I mean is that take a leaf out of my book. I knew I couldn't be the best that I possibly could, not to something so real and so new as this story clearly was from its audition phase. Then you get it. Everything that happens between the moment you audition to when you get something to when you actually start the first day of rehearsal, they need to be something that informs what you're going to bring to that role. Allow yourself to be bones, because your bones have to be what you've already built. And that foundation is fucking blood, sweat and tears to begin with. And do not push that aside. That is who you are. Yeah. That is what you are. That's what you bring. And you're already booked for that role. So shut the fuck up and just build it slowly and just allow yourself to find what that is, because opening night's still 4 fucking weeks away. So chill the fuck out and do it. Just build it.
Yeah.
Build it slowly and surely, and don't you let anybody pressure you into something other than what you know you're capable of doing and being.
Oh my God, on that note, Hadestown is currently playing in Sydney until April 26th, and then I'm pretty much going to go every night when it rolls up in Melbourne to Her Majesty's Theatre from May 8th. I mean, I can't wait for you to be in Melbourne. We can hang. You will not get rid of me.
Are you sure?
Baby.
I'm
Oh my God.
sure. Like,
I'm your soul sister.
Oh my God.
We are doing it. You're going to meet my family. My son's just going to talk to you
Maybe
the whole
we
time.
can co-chair somebody from, like, maybe we can interview somebody together.
Maybe.
Just on a special
100%.
special one. Anu and you.
I love it.
Oh my God, yes.
Anu and Russiano.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
The fact that you don't have an Oprah-style talk show is a crime. Is a crime.
It's because I'd be crying more than the guests
I
would
love
be.
that.
It's like,
I love it. You're beautiful, human, incredible. Well done. And everyone go and see Hadestown. I cannot stress that enough.
Emma, you're so beautiful. Thank you so much
Are you
for
joking?
having me.
Thank you.
I
It's
really,
an honour.
really,
You're an icon. You're a diva.
honestly.
You're Christina Nu. Stepping out in my deadly red shoes. Oh, my God. Thank you.
Emsolation with M. Rossiano is recorded at Down the Hill Studios. Hosted by M. Rossiano with Michael Lucas. Executive produced by Benjamin Wasley. Produced by M. Rossiano. Edited by Ezekiel Fenn with videos by James Henderson. Socials by Benjamin Wasley, M. Rossiano and Marcella Rossiano Barrow, with assistance from Jem Evans and Isabella Hines. You'll find links to get more Emsolation on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast. And thanks for listening. We can't wait to chat with you again soon.